Well, you got Keeley, you got Colt Westbrook and them boys out there too. So they're all making pedals. So how'd it go with Keeley?
Man, Robert? Keeley, it's like if Willy Wonka made guitar pedals. I mean, there's like a chocolate river that runs through the factory, and you know, these little short people running around. But no, like I go out there, I do some service for him every now and then. He has 3 guitars I built for him, and I did a bunch of work on a 1931 Martin. I think it was a double or 18K or something. It was all Koa, smaller body Martin from 1931. But when I brought it back to give him, he's got a guy that works for him that used to be a chef. So anytime I gotta like drive something over there, I make sure I go on Thursdays because that guy makes lunch for everybody.
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
Always really baller. So I was out there for that and dropped that guitar, and he had the special edition Monterey because they were phasing the Monterey out. So he took like the last 50 or 60 units and did like a little mod to it, put like a germanium diode in whatever position the fuzz is at, and did like a live, you know, we're gonna sell these live, podcast type of deal that he does. And man, within the first 15 minutes, he had, me play through the thing, and the podcast was only 15 or 20 minutes. It's like first 10 or 15 minutes they were sold out.
Sold out, yeah.
So I mean, he's really at the top of the game for doing what he does, and the atmosphere, the workplace culture there is so cool. Like you walk around, it's people that are happy to be doing what they're doing, and they're doing a great job doing it. That facility is state of the art.
Wow.
I mean, automated circuit board population, there's graphic design teams in-house, powder coating, the print, everything, the enclosures, all of it's made in-house right there in Edmond. It's really super impressive to see somebody manufacturing to the degree that he's manufacturing, because being in manufacturing myself for the last 20 plus years, I've known a lot of builders and worked for shops that make parts for other builders, particularly when I lived in LA. And there's a lot of that goes on in the industry. And when you walk into Keeley's place, he's one of those big dogs that's making parts for other people because he's so successful at running his crew, doing what they do, that he's able to farm out work for other people. He's just a force of nature when it comes to pedals. And he's got like his son, and then there was one other guy there that are also going to school for electrical engineering, and he's an electrical engineer. I mean, there is some real talent on that team. It's an impressive workhouse he's got going there. And if you ever get a chance to see it, I highly recommend it.
I'd love to get out there.
Oh man!
Hey Robert, you're listening. Come on.
I know, right?
I know Colt Westbrook from Walrus Audio is out there, and he says they're all chasing after Robert. Man, Walrus is doing a good job too. Oklahoma City.
He's the smartest guy I know. I'm convinced that if there were any of my friends that I would suspect capabilities to get to the moon without assistance, NASA, Robert Keeley's at the top of the list. It's funny, like a few years ago, and this has actually since come to pass, somebody did it, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it's like, Robert, what if you made me a pedal that when I played, all my notes came out as meows? And since this conversation, somebody actually did that. Right. And his first response was, no. And then, wait a minute, I could do that. His mind is just, guy's running a mile a minute. It's amazing.
So did you play out there a little bit, try some new stuff, or what?
I played through some top secret stuff he's working on, and he showed me some things that were about to come out that have since come out. In fact,
oh yeah, you do have some over there.
Right here.
See it, yeah,
So,
cool.
These are essentially
I'll
like
hold it
a
up for the camera.
4-in-1 kind of deal.
Yeah.
There's basically 2 pedals in each of those,
Right.
and you can switch who's in front of who. So it really gives you a lot of tonal choices for what your drive is going to sound like. And you know, obviously this is going to have the Noble and the Screamer in it. And this is like the Andy Timmons deal, and it has Robert Keeley's. So it's like Andy Timmons, Robert Keeley switch, and then this one. I know it's Blues Driver and something else. I think OCD.
OC.
Yeah, it says OC. Yeah. So yeah, it's just you get 4 selections in one pedal for what you can get.
So in other words, I mean, how many pedals are you covering? With
Well,
these
I mean,
3. I mean, that's a lot of ground.
Technically, you know,
Yeah.
you got what? I don't know, 24 different drive sounds.
Wow.
On that deck right there.
That's crazy.
And I put this together kind of as a demo deck so that I can tag it on the end of my board because I have an extra courtesy jack on this, so I can power this little ISO 5. But I can also take this, like I've taken it down to Guitar House and I'm like, hey, check this out. You know, let's set it up into one of their amps and let somebody taste test it. You know.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's such a good. I love it. I like the layout and everything. I see. I'll show a picture here. I'll take a picture of your board and post it there. You got the halo on there.
Yep, the halo has become a staple. The 2 things of Keeley's that are on there that I never turn off, they are always on, is the mini compressor. And I used to run the 4-knob, and I had like a setting on it that I really liked. And when he came out with the mini, he sent me one, and I liked it so much better that I got rid of the 4-knob, and now I just run the mini. It takes up, you know, half as much space, and there's only 2 knobs, and the closer to 2 knobs I get, the happier I am. And the other thing is the Seafoam, and you know, I was a big Mike Stern fan for many years, still am, but you know, when I moved to LA, you know, watching guys like Scott Henderson and Mike Stern and Michael Landau, particularly Landau, was that Arion, with that plastic chorus pedal?
It looked like a
he
little
used all the
tank.
time. Yeah, and Mike
So
Stern, I
cheap
can't remember
looking.
which one he uses, it might be the same one, but they always left a chorus on some amount. And when I moved back here, a guy named Steve Pryor, he always had something on a little bit that was some sort of mod, you know, chorus or something like that. And I mean, there's just been several guys that I've been influenced by that ran a chorus of some amount all the time. And when I got that Seafoam, I started doing that. And one of the things about Keeley's pedals is he probably has arguably the best buffers in the game on all of his pedals. And on these new drives, there's actually a function on the on-off switch where you can turn that buffer off and it'll just be normal true bypass. But he does have a buffer built into all of those.
Interesting.
But yeah, you know, you got all these guys that are touting the whole idea of true bypass for the last, 25, 30 years. And then Keeley comes up with the best buffer that there ever was and has it in basically every one of his pedals. So if that Seafoam is, even if it's just on with no mix on it and left on, it still imparts something that I just can't live without. And I believe it to be the buffer.
Interesting.
But yeah, I leave it on. All the knobs are pretty much at the 15% or whatever, or 25% mark. They're all facing that way.
Yep. 9 o'clock position kind of
yeah.
on it, and just
And,
so it's a set it and forget it, always on kind of thing, right?
And I've got it on the middle setting, which is his setting. There's an ADT in that, and my eyes aren't good enough to read the bottom.
Right.
I think it's a dual chorus, but yeah, I leave it on all the time. Occasionally, I'll take that depth and mix and crank them up to 50%, but most of the time they're all just pointed that way at 25.
Now this is great. I love the setup. You've got a nice and clean board here. You've got your wires running real well. This is a nice
I built
little
this
setup.
all.
Man.
It's all Mogami, 2524, I think.
Okay.
And I did. I've got kind of a combination of. It's mostly pancake pins.